Tom here from Tech Nexus, and thanks for joining me on this week's video. Last week I went through the basics of advanced steel, so hopefully if you've been playing around with it, you've made something, built something, and you need to sort of start modifying some of the members you've put in there. Now, this was an old Plant 3D project. It was the basis of a skid. So it's been modelled up. You'll notice I haven't cut any of the members. I haven't put any joints in or anything like that. I've only laid out the basics of where I want this steelwork to be. So now's the time when I'm going to go through and do some modification and add some what's called features. So that might be something like this corner over here of this sort of upper platform. Let's say for argument's sake on this project they want to miter these three PFCs together. So there's a miter tool in the advanced steel palette. Now to get to that, firstly in the middle of the home palette there's a button called advanced steel tool palette, and then it might be sort of at the top level or it might be minimized. If it's minimized, click on the plus button, and then you've got modify, which will probably be the first button. So what you want to do is look at the last one down the bottom here and go into features. So with that I can do various tools in here. I've got bevel cuts, I've got corner cuts, I've got trim or cutted object, and I've got miters, and then we can put in some contours or holes or whatever you want to call it in there. But for today I just wanted to go through some of the mitering. So on this upper level here we're going to miter these two PFCs together. So I just click on the miter command, and it says down the bottom in the command line it says section to cut against. So we'll pick the short one here on the left, and then section to cut on the right hand side, and you'll see that it performs the miter and you get this grey sort of joint box, which is the cut itself. So if we go to cut, if for whatever reason you need to add a gap, we can put a 6mm gap in there, and you can see the software will trim it to give us a 6mm gap. Obviously I don't want that. I can also create a weld in here. So you can, or I mean, I guess it depends on sort of, I guess, what you're doing on this, whether you need to show the weld or not. If I switch back to wireframe, you can see the weld appears as this sort of pink two sort of crosshair kind of node looking icons. This could be important when you're doing the assembly drawing for this to show that there is a weld there. Sometimes on jobs you don't need to show the weld just because it's an overall kind of rule on the project that all the welds are 6mm continuous fillet weld or 10mm or whatever it might be. So sometimes you might not need to show it. So I guess that's why we've got that create weld button there. And I can also save the settings back to this library, but I'll go through library on another model. So I'm just going to switch this back to conceptual. So we can do the same with the other corner. Section to cut against, enter, section to cut, enter. Okay, and there it is there. Okay, so down the other end, let's do the same, why not? 1, 2, and then the corner 1, 2. So you can see there we've got that all neat and tidy now. Now, with these vertical ones, I can come back next to the rolled eye section. There's a button there called split beams. So what we can do is I can pick the vertical PFC or column, and then I can select the split point to be the bottom of where it's meeting up. Now it's probably going to be a bit hard to see, but what I might do is I might just isolate these, and now you can see it's actually cut and split that beam in two. So then I can just delete the top part. Okay, so now we've got a nice tidy little cut there. Okay, and I can do the same for the other side. And then let's just switch to wireframe, and then I can find it and then just delete it. Now you'll notice as well, I haven't added any welds to that, but let's say we needed this to be welded around here for some reason. Again, this is all hypothetical. This may or may not happen in the real world, but if it does need to happen and you've cut something back against another one and you need to weld it, you can add kind of, I guess, a manual weld. So if we go to the home ribbon, just next to the connection bolt, there's a little button called Weld Point. So you can see there, as you hover your mouse over it, it says the weld point establishes a connection between objects and contains not only the weld properties but the logical connection between connected structural parts. So let's say I want to put a weld here to weld the column to the PFC. So I can pick the horizontal beam, the vertical, and let's pick the other horizontal beam as well. So all these three are going to be welded together, and press enter. And it says define the insertion point of the weld. So that's just a little marker. And you can see there it puts those pink crosshairs. And now we've got the weld dialog. So that's effectively telling the software now that all of these three are all connected together. And you've got all of these different type of weld joints in here. Any weld lengths if you need to, whether it's shop or site, continuous, and again, a whole bunch of data in here that you can add if you need to. Okay. And we can also check that as well. So we've got buttons here under the selection tool to show us anything that's connected. And it's highlighted it all in red because these have been all welded together to this point. Okay. So you can do that if you, let's do it with this other one that we haven't done. So you can see it's highlighted it in red. It shows that nothing else is connected to it. Okay. So we can do the same thing for the other side. And I can stick the weld. It's just a marker. It's not anything about, you're not modeling in the weld. There is a button in there to actually sort of create a line of weld, but in my opinion, it's probably a bit of overkill. Okay. So that's that one there. Now, if we keep playing around with this top section, you can see I've got some beams here. So these are 200 UBs, and they're attached to these 200 PFCs. So I can minimize the advanced palette, and I can open up the connection vault. If you expand it, and if you're playing around with it, there's a whole bunch. I think from memory, there was 220 odd, 230 odd, I think, type of connections in here. A lot of them will will cover what you need. You can go through and do custom connections, but a lot of these will sort of suit what you need. So if you scroll through, and there's one called platform beams, and if you scroll down the bottom of this palette, or you can sort of expand it, and you can look, these are not like normal AutoCAD pallets. These are exclusive to Advanced Steel. They're these sort of floating pallets that sort of float around the screen. You can't dock them to the side of the AutoCAD window, but you can sort of throw them off onto another screen if you need to. So on platform beams, so 1, 2, 3, the fourth one down, it's platform beams, and if you scroll down the bottom, it's a third from the bottom called shear plate. So that's the one I'm going to use for this connection here. So if you make the window just a little bit bigger, and I always tell people read what happens in these windows here. It tells you everything what you need to do. So for shear plate, it says selection order beam, number 1 beam and number 2 beam. Okay, any profile, and it puts in a single plate of steel is welded to the first beam and bolted to the second. Okay, so this will be very handy for us here. So the first beam I want to pick is the long one, so the long PFC coming down the length of this platform, and then I press enter, and then it says select the secondary beam, and I pick the UB that it's going to attach to, and give it a second, and then there it is. Okay, now if I spin it round, you can see there's that little plate it puts in, there's the bolts. If we switch to a wireframe, you see the welds are in there as well, and it's all controlled from this grey dialog box here. So I'll just go back to conceptual, and if you want to go back to the joint, you can just double click the grey box, and you get back to this dialog. Okay, now, excuse me, you've got all of the options here, so notches. So you can see number 1 is that cutback, so on that image, number 1. And you can see there's that 20mm between that being there and the inside of that PFC. If I make that, let's make it 50 just to show you. So you can see it's cut it back at 50mm. Okay, push it back to 20. Let's go down, let's make it 10. All the notches. So all of these values here, 1, 2, 3, all relate back up to the images up here. Okay, so the detail length 20, so let's make that 10 again. You can see my model, it's trimmed it down to 10mm gap. Number 2, the detail depth, I'll leave that at 20, just because it'll give us a little bit of room. Anything else? Oh, so with the plate, if you click on plate and bolts, you've got plate layout, you've got change side left and right. Okay. And it doesn't move the beam, it just, everything, the plate's on the left or the right hand side of that beam. Or if you're creating some sort of sandwich in there, you can pick both. But let's do left, because I like the plate to be on the inside. Okay, plate shape, any sort of corner finishes on there, concave, straight, default. You can play around with the values, the bolts and the holes. So 20mm, I might make these all 16s. Nut and washer, so I'll do nut and 2 washers. Again, it's all up to you. If you're drafting this, someone somewhere will be telling you what kind of connections are all going to be here. So you can see we can go through and do all of these. You can see that weld is a shop weld. You can do it out on site if you need to, and weld it to secondary if you need to as well, but we're not going to do that. Now, you've noticed I've made changes to it. So if we go back up to properties and click on library, I can import all of those changes. Okay, and there's already some predefined ones in here. Scroll down, don't click on them just yet, just because it will change the look of that connection. So if you want to, go for it. If you don't click on it just yet. If you want to save all of your settings that you've done, click on import values, and it'll put a new entry down the bottom. And to name it, we can click on edit, and then we get another dialog, and I can scroll down the bottom and I can say TechNexus 1. Okay, so then I can recall those settings all over again. Now, this is where things start to get interesting with Advanced Steel. Instead of me doing that all over and over again, I can make this what's kind of a parent-child relationship with all of these connections. And I'm probably stepping a little bit far now, but it'll give you a good insight into what you can do eventually with Advanced Steel. So I can copy this joint around to all of the others, and if I make a change to 1, then all of them will change. Okay, so there is a button here called create a joint in a joint group. So to select the joint, once you click that button, it asks you for the joint box. So you pick the joint box, press enter, and then you have to pick, like you're doing the command, you pick the 2 main beams, and then you pick the secondary beams, and then there you go. So there's all of our joints done. Now, to show that we have this sort of parent-child relationship, if I double-click on the first one, that was the master, and let's go to horizontal bolts, and let's put in 3. As soon as I press enter, you can see they all change. So again, we can have one joint controlling all of the others for this top platform here. Okay. Now, let's say you've inherited this model from someone and you don't know where the master is. If I double click on one of them, and see how it's all sort of grayed out? So I can make this the master, and now I can go through and edit the number of bolts, and then all the children will change as well. Okay. So if you've been following along, have a play around with the features, particularly, I guess, the mitre. I might go through some of these ones a little bit later. I'm just sort of concerned for time. Mitre some corners if you want to. Have a play with the connection vault and do some connections in here. And then I think what we might do is just have a play around with some more of these features next week, like putting holes and notching out sort of bits and pieces in some of the other advanced steel models. But if you do have any comments, obviously put them in the comment section below, and I'll see what I can do about either answering them or making up a video for it. But yeah, have a play. Put up some comments if you need to. Ask questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question, but have a look at it. See if you can break it. If you do break it, let me know, and I'll endeavour to answer it. But otherwise, thanks for watching the video. Thumbs up if you liked the video, thumbs down if you didn't, and please do subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next week for a little bit more advanced steel training. Thanks everyone. See ya.